Okay, so I guess we'll try at a different angle to shoot this from. Might be too much sitting in the sunshine, and it might be too wide, and you might get to see very much else. I have no idea what you're seeing right now. We're going to try. I don't know if you've seen a YouTuber called Dan Coe. He's a young guy, I guess he's probably mid-20s. Very articulate, very thoughtful. He's been on his own journey, and he seems to be doing really well. He writes every day. He's got himself a routine. He reads regularly. He's in search of ideas. He definitely figured out that he needed to do something different rather than just go get himself a job and kind of get stuck into the standard routine that a lot of us fall into. I find his thinking challenging and brilliant, and I'm really impressed that someone so young seems to have it really well put together. So fair play to him. I'd loved to have been able to think and process that way when I was younger. It just wasn't how I was built. I fell neatly into the boxes that I was put in. I was happy to be assigned my thinking around what I should do at university and what I should do with my life, until I figured out that those things weren't really working for me, and I needed to figure things out. And that only came later. But I've been on a journey for more than a decade now, probably since my late 30s, just trying to figure out where to go and what's next. In the video I posted last, I said that I'd lost my job, and I wasn't that worried about it or fussed about it. And part of that is just actively choosing to detach and to let go and not be over encumbered by the outcome. But this is quite new for me. I was reading this amazing book by Rick Rubin, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And I've been reading this for months, but I literally can only read a section or two at a time, and then I have to stop and think and process it and let it sink in. It's not a book that I could read in one or two sittings, even though you could easily do that. It's very readable. It's really well put together. And I'm sure you've seen lots of people talk about it and process it. But yesterday I was reading a section. Let me see if I can read you just a little bit. I'll probably put the words up. How should we measure success? It isn't popularity, money, or critical esteem. Success occurs in the privacy of the soul. It comes in the moment you decide to release the work, before exposure to a single opinion. When you've done all you can do to bring out the work's greatest potential, when you're pleased and ready to let go. Success has nothing to do with the variables outside yourself. To move forward is an aspect of success. This happens when we finish a work, share it, and begin a new project. That really hit me because for the past 2 years, I've stepped away from making videos and shooting photography, and I've gone back to my first love, which was making music. But I've just been dabbling. I haven't finished anything. In that entire 2 years, I haven't finished a single piece. I've started maybe in the order of 100 pieces. I have chord ideas, I have rhythms, I have engineered sounds and made things sound good. I've listened to them, I've shared them, I've sent them on. I've done some of those pieces, but I haven't been able to get it to the end. So it kind of makes me a serial starter. Something that Rick Rubin describes as the seed, kind of going out and finding the seed. But I really struggle to make it through to the point where I get to the end. And I just think that this chapter in the book, this section in the book, I found it really compelling to think about maybe letting go of the outcome, not thinking about the outcome and thinking about, will people like it? I have such a need for affirmation that I feel really restricted by, that I wrote it down in my journal that I'm a chronic affirmation junkie. So like, how do I shift my mindset and ditch my attachment to the outcome? At the end of the chapter, Rick has this other little piece, and it says, if we can tune into the idea of making things and sharing them without being attached to the outcome, the work is most likely to arrive in its truest form. I've finished things, as you can see. Like, I posted a video last week. I've posted multiple videos on this channel already, and I like them. I enjoy them. I've posted finished and complete pieces of photography and photo art, which is all over my Instagram. It seems that I'm able to get those to a more complete place quicker, but I'm really struggling with that from a musical perspective. Interestingly, I also came across this video. I'm going to show a little bit of it, from Eckhart Tolle, and he was talking about how we're connected to the outcome and how to start practicing a level of detachment.
A great obstacle for achieving a vision or any success is to be, and this almost sounds paradoxical at first until you begin to understand it, is to have an excessive attachment to the outcome. That's a huge hindrance. Now you might think, well, if I have a vision of what it is I want to achieve, would it not be natural for me to be attached to the outcome that I want to get there? I want to reach millions of people with my music, and I want to make millions of people to feel better by listening to my music, perhaps to get a glimpse of presence by listening to my music. It's a great vision, but the mastery of this lies in not attaching yourself to the vision, so that you lose consciousness in what you are doing, and it gets dissipated into the vision, which ultimately is a mental thing. The point of power is always in the present moment. Excessive attachment to the outcome, one could almost say any real attachment to the outcome, weakens your ability to manifest.
So I spent a lot of time over the past kind of day or two really thinking and processing that. And you know what happened today when I opened up Rick's book? The section is called Connected Detachment. And it starts with this, and I thought it was brilliant. Consider detaching from the story of your life as it's happening. The manuscript of the novel you've worked on for years is lost in the fire. Your romantic relationship breaks up when you thought it was going well. You lose a job you care about. As hard as it may seem, seek to experience these events like you're watching a movie. You're observing a dramatic scene where the protagonist faces a seemingly insurmountable challenge. It's you, but it's not you. Like I said in my last video, I just lost my job. But I'm not feeling attached to that. I'm not feeling fearful about that. I'm not scared of the future. I'm waiting for the next chapter. I'm wondering how the hero of this movie is going to move forward, because there's always a next scene. There's always an opportunity to move on. I've been here before. I've been here a few times before. And there's always a next thing. This is not the end of the world. In fact, I'm sat on my bed with my dog, enjoying a lovely sunny afternoon. And I'm at peace and I'm happy. And I'm choosing not to wallow in that state of, crazy, or thinking through all the worst possibilities. I've been there. There's been moments I've thought about those things, but I've also moved on to go, but there's something else happening. There's something bigger. There's something, deeper that I need to be aware of and ready for. And that's partly why I'm documenting this and putting this out there. And I just want to share it and encourage everyone to take a deep breath, take a moment to step away from whatever problem you're facing and try and find some perspective or some clarity. And that perspective might be stepping out into the world, into nature, to see that there's a bigger thing happening than just your situation. Go and find somebody older than you, like go talk to your parents, or go talk to an elder person who lives on your street, or help somebody at the supermarket. Like talk to your kids, help them understand that their whole world is revolving around mostly without you, and it's okay. And there's an entire world, there's an entire universe. We're just tiny specks on this tiny planet that's revolving around an insignificant sun on the edge of a tiny and distant galaxy in the midst of a massive, enormous universe that we have no idea really how big it is. So when I start to think about all those big things, I think about how small it is, that for one moment in the middle of my life I might have lost my job and be moving on. And I'm just taking a deep breath and going, what will be, will be. And something's going to come next. And just to think and process and figure that out. The outcome is not the outcome. The darkness is not an endpoint, nor is the daylight. They live in a continual, unfolding, mutually dependent cycle. Neither is bad or good. They simply exist. This practice of never assuming an experience you have is the whole story will support you in a life of open possibility and equanimity. When we obsessively focus on these events, they may appear catastrophic, but they're just a small aspect of a larger life. And the further you zoom back, the smaller each experience becomes. Zoom in and obsess, zoom out and observe. We get to choose. And with that, I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to go make some music. Thanks. See you next time.